On this week's show, Liberty football lands some noteworthy preseason recognition, and we go out of the office with one Flames head coach.
Plus, we introduce you to a soccer alum who's making a difference and some big news for us here at Flames Central. It all starts right now.
Welcome to Flames Central, your home for Liberty Athletics and the stories behind the Flames. He's Rhett, I'm Matt, and we have yet another great show lined up for you this week.
Yeah, normally we begin the show with the most important news about an athlete or a team, but not today. We're actually going to talk about ourselves for a change.
Yeah, our humility is second to that. But yes, we took home 2 Emmy Awards this past week. Our show won the award for Best Sports Program, post-produced or edited. It's the first time in the 7+ year history of the show that we've won this award, beating out the likes of, the Baltimore Ravens and others. Maybe you've heard of them. And then a big congratulations to Austin Reddington. He won an Emmy for graphic arts, and then he got to build this graphic to celebrate that fact. All in all, a special accomplishment for everyone involved here at Flames Central. And just let me say, what an honor it is to receive an award like this. Yeah. Just as much of an honor that we get to share so many of these great stories with you. Not just stories about how many touchdowns a guy scores, but about who these people are, these athletes, these coaches, their faith journey, what they've been through in their lives. Tremendous honor that we get the responsibility of sharing these stories.
Yeah, like you said, winning an Emmy is amazing, but when you hear stories from people and their testimonies of how God has used their story to impact others in their lives as well, I think that's the real reward in all of this.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely fantastic stuff. Well, Flames Central not the only ones getting recognized this week. Phil Steele announced his preseason All-Americans and All-Conference players. And Liberty fans, you're going to be pretty happy with how many Flames are on the list. Let's start off with Darrell Johnson. He was named to the 2021 Phil Steele preseason All-America team, picking up a 4th team selection as a defensive end. Now, last season, Johnson led the Flames with 11.5 tackles for loss and 8.5 sacks. He was ranked 28th in the country in sacks per game. Add in a forced fumble and an interception, and you understand why he was a major part of Liberty's defense that was ranked 11th nationally in total defense. Liberty had 16 Flames in total named to the preseason independent all-conference teams. That was the most selections of any independent team in the nation. Quarterback Malik Willis comes in on the first team, along with his offensive tackle Tristan Schultz. Demario Douglas, also named to the first team for punt return. Second team saw a plethora of Flames, including junior defensive end Trayshawn Clark, super senior Rouse Rusins, and Liberty staple in the secondary, Javon Scruggs.
Cannot wait for football to get going. Well, it's been quite the year for Liberty shot putter Kyle Mitchell. Earlier this season, he established the Liberty program record, he claimed an ASUN title, and he earned All-American status at the NCAA championships. But he had one more big opportunity left in front of him. Mitchell, a native of Jamaica, would compete in his country's Olympic trials, and with a 59 feet, 9 1/4 inches effort, he would find himself with a 4th place finish in the event. Not quite enough to represent Jamaica in the Olympics, but a great showing nonetheless, and a fine finish to the 2021 season. Well, turning to volleyball, the ASUN released its Winners for Life teams, and one of the athletes honored was Liberty volleyball player Aspen Thompson. This honor is reserved for those who excel on and off the court, and Thompson fits that description. A 4.0 student in preclinical public health. She also participates in numerous community service projects. She becomes the first Liberty volleyball player to ever receive this conference honor. Congrats to Aspen.
Well, staying with volleyball, head coach Trevor Johnson didn't get the chance to coach a single match in the year of 2020. For the competitor in Coach Johnson, that was a tough pill to swallow. So like many other coaches in the nation, he couldn't sit idly by waiting for the pandemic to finish. He needed something to do, which leads us to our next installment in our series, Out of the Office.
It actually happened during the pandemic, so everything was shut down and we couldn't do anything. Brett, my assistant, kind of grew up playing it as a hobby. And so he's like, hey, come out disc golfing.
Brett, you beat me enough, but today I'm gonna kick your butt. Okay, a little left in the tree.
It's awesome because it's outdoors.
Found it, scramble mode.
It's free. It's still competitive for me, so I still like getting after it.
Second shot, terrible first. Let's see if I can put this close. Through the rough. Something like that.
Brett's pretty good,
Cash.
but I give him a run sometimes.
Par. On to the next.
I'm super competitive, so whoever I play out here, whether it's Brett or even my family, I want to beat my son, and my son's 12, and we're super competitive, but I want to beat him, and I'm not letting up for him at all.
A little left.
What makes a good disc golfer is having a next throw mentality, and normally my first throw is terrible, and so I know that, and I know that I just have to scramble at that point, and so that's what makes a good disc golfer is, can you scramble, just like in regular golf.
Birdie.
Good players have bad memories. You have to forget about it and just move on to the next throw really quick. Getting time away from the facility and the job, it's a must, especially for us coaches. Oftentimes we're defined by the wins and losses, and so just being out here with the family and forgetting all that and not worried about recruits or who did I make mad today at practice or whatever, and just throwing some discs. You're not gonna get in trouble for throwing a bad disc.
We're through.
It's just a good time just to relax and compete.
Oh yeah, that could be really good.
Playing disc golf with my staff has been awesome. I think it helps our unity as a staff, and we're able to figure out and know each other more so than just coaches. We're actually friends, and we actually truly care about each other, and we invest in each other. And I think our girls see that, when it comes time to be on the court and be in practice. So that stuff goes a long way, and I think it's really helped our staff for sure.
Oh, booyah. We're through. Dude, that's like one of the best shots I've ever thrown. I'm done.
We talk all the time with our athletes to be where your feet are, and for me, my feet are right here, right now, and I'm just trying to be here and trying to be present. Disc golf truly reveals that for sure, because you have to be present each and every shot.
Right at you.
It's a time for me just to refocus and to be outside and to listen to the birds and just to be in nature. Also competing at the same time is really fun for me.
Brett, you mentioned Trevor Johnson didn't get to coach in 2020, right? A fall sport. It got pushed back to spring, so he's just sitting around like most coaches, probably just chomping at the bit, needs a competitive outlet. Great that he was able to find one in disc golf. And then also, he mentioned you're able to play with your assistant coaches, so you're able to grow closer with them off the field, off the court. I'm sure that's been beneficial for him in this program.
And I'd be willing to bet, too. I bet you disc golf was the fastest growing sport in America in 2020. I think of it, socially distanced, you're outside, it all fit in perfectly. And we know Trevor, funny guy. I could see just, you're walking around, throwing the disc. It'd be a great opportunity to grow closer.
We need to go play with him sometime. Maybe we'll see if we can set that up. All right, well, if you think this show, Flame Central, is fun, you should check out our podcast. This week's guest, former Liberty basketball standout Lavelle Cabell, and he had an opinion he wanted Flames Nation to hear.
Let me just say this. Because I feel like it goes under the radar. People on the outside might not pay too much attention. But me personally, I feel like that I am the most underrated and underappreciated player to ever come through Liberty University. Boom, boom.
Wow.
That's how I feel. Me personally, because, I see a lot of things, on social media, talking about a lot of players and a lot of stuff like that. But me personally,
you feel slighted you didn't get that second time through, that second ring. That's what it is, right?
I'm slighted about that for sure. I think I'm slighted about maybe a defensive player of the year. I'm slighted maybe about a couple all conferences that I felt like I should have got, but I never got. So, that's how life works sometimes. But I feel like I'm definitely the most underrated player.
Rhett thinks he's the most underrated anchor. He's told me that a number of times. I do tend to agree with Lavelle. To hear our entire conversation with the former Flame and to check out all of our past episodes, download the Flame Central podcast today. Get it on Apple, Spotify, the usual places. The Flame Central podcast, your home for Rhett McGibbon's unfiltered opinion on life and sports.
When you look at the legacy of Liberty Athletics, it's easy to become focused purely on the success that the Flames have reached recently. Back-to-back Cure Bowl wins, NCAA tournament appearances, and athletes being named All-Americans. When truly the legacy of Liberty is the impact it makes on the lives of people, whether they wear a Liberty uniform or not. Our next story demonstrates this to perfection as we get to know former Flame Jim Pereira.
From the moment the first athlete donned a Liberty University uniform, the mission was crystal clear.
We believe that witnessing for Christ is what sports is all about, and we have a lot of athletes led to Christ after the contest when our boys go one-on-one, our girls go one-on-one with those with whom they've just competed.
This mission, ignited by Dr. Jerry Falwell, energized all of Liberty University athletics, from the coaches down to the players, and that included Jim Pereira. Jim was a soccer goalie in high school who came to Liberty in the early 90s having no intention of continuing his athletic career. But then God would intervene. A friend coaxed Jim into attending a walk-on tryout, and he was introduced to Liberty men's soccer coach Bill Bell.
I got a call from my best friend from high school who was at Liberty as well, and he told me there's walk-on tryouts for the men's soccer team, and I thought, that's a waste of time for me, right? And so he said, well, here's the thing, we get to play for 2 hours on the Liberty game field. And I thought, all right, well, that's cool. That's probably going to be the nicest field I've ever played on. And we got to the end of the walk-on tryouts, and Coach Bell at the time, the legend, Coach Bill Bell, he said in his Scottish accent, he pointed to me and, "Aye, son, you come here." And he had me come over, and I'm kind of looking around at it, and there's no way he's talking about me. And Coach Bell says, you're on the team, and I want you to be at practice tomorrow. And I just remember thinking, what just happened?
This surprising turn of events helped Jim to begin to understand Dr. Falwell's vision of what athletics at Liberty are all about. And Coach Bill Bell distinctly embodied that vision.
I don't like to see a team that goes out on the field, whether it's basketball, football, soccer, hockey, whatever, when they go on the field and they run their inside out and they work as hard as they can and they give all and they lose the game. I don't like to see them sitting on the floor look like this and other teams going to hell. That bothered me.
He had this ability to just be so bold in his faith. And when we got done with the games, it wasn't just, hey, we're going to go mingle with the other team. It was, we're going to pray with them, we're going to witness to them. And when you get done with a Division I competition and you've been kicking each other for 90 minutes, maybe you lose 2-1 in a close game. Now I'm going to go pray for that person, and I've got to think about their soul. And he always taught us that was the most important thing that was out there. He really taught me to be bold in my faith and to have that be the cornerstone. Good, Addy, good, Addy. There you go. Hey, the minute you went aggressive there, they coughed it up, okay?
Today, Jim coaches high school and club soccer in Colorado, where he takes the same faith-filled approach he learned from Coach Bell and now implements it within his own program.
We pray with other teams after the game, and we just talk about what it means to be saved, and we kind of go through the plan of salvation. And we've had numerous kids get saved, even in our program at a Christian school. And that's fantastic. Really, what we've wanted over time is just plant seeds and to really, without making anybody uncomfortable, just make sure they understand what our faith is and that we care about them, we love them. So it's been fun to see even kids from club teams get saved. Wider. I tell my teams all the time, I want to win as bad as the next person. I hate losing. And I'm highly competitive. But I also tell them I don't ever want to win a game and we come off the field as a lower character team. I always want our teams to walk off the field higher character, win or lose, and be proud of how we represented ourselves, how we represented the club, and then of course with Lutheran High School, how we represented a Christian high school and the kingdom of God. It's my purpose, it's my passion, it's my mission field.
It's a mission field cultivated by a man with a vision, and Jim is one of many former Flames running with that vision, grateful for the legacy that has been entrusted to him.
I'm so proud to have played there and to have been a part of that program. I'm proud of what I was taught through Coach Bell, what the focal point was from a spiritual standpoint, and the furthering of the kingdom. For me, that makes me so proud. And so it's something that I tell people about every chance I get. We're unofficial ambassadors for sure of Liberty.
Nice, good work, good work.
Coming up, we open up the Flame Central Vault and bring you a story from the past.
That's right. Learn how Coach Pete McFadden came to be a staple in the Liberty track and field program. More Flame Central after this.
A graduate degree is about more than letters behind your name. It's about mastering ideas, standing out from the crowd, not just for expertise, but for excellence and integrity. At Liberty University, we stand out from the crowd by not raising online tuition prices for the past 6 years and offering lower rates for select programs. Over 250 graduate degrees, one you, infinite possibilities.
Liberty University is more than my sponsor. It's my school, too. Fuel your education at Liberty University.
Times are changing. At Liberty, we've made it our priority to grow, to learn, to improve. But even with all the change, our purpose remains. We want to equip people to go make a difference through their calling in their communities around the world. And though we are blessed with an amazing campus, our most valuable resource has always been the people, our students, and those who inspire them. It's the people who serve, maintain, support. It's you.
What's really important? Not the buildings, not the mountain, not the property, but the young people who use these buildings, who study in these facilities. They are important.
No matter what the future holds, we will stay focused on our goal. And the people of Liberty University are how we will continue to carry out our mission. They are the ones who empower us to
Training champions for Christ.
Champions for Christ.
Training champions for Christ.
Hey, welcome back to Flame Central. You know, coaching should be about much more than just X's and O's, more than just recruiting and strategy. Coaching should be seen as an opportunity to pour into the lives of others. And for Liberty Track and Field Associate Head Coach Pete McFadden, it was coaches that had a powerful impact on his life, and now he's doing the same for athletes right here at LU.
A small town in South Carolina is called Olathe, South Carolina. Real small town, not very big. Growing up, you know, it wasn't the best ideal situation growing up. You know, we had a lot of tough times. My older brother, my younger brother, my sister, and I, and my mom lived in a 2-bedroom shack.
As a young boy, Andrew Pete McFadden lost his dad in an automobile accident.
Losing your father, you think you lose your protection, you lose your guidance, you lose a person that's going to mentor you.
McFadden's mother, finding herself a single parent, had to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. This left her little time at home with her children.
There was nobody that sit there to help us with homework. There was nobody here to tell us what to do. We learned on the go. She cooked us our meal. She cooked a meal every single day. The meal was on the stove. When we got home, we ate. We did what we were supposed to do. And if we didn't do what we were supposed to do, when she got home, she let us know it.
Sports would be an escape for McFadden, with baseball being his first love. But during a game in the 10th grade, a nice grab would catch the eye of a coach from a different sport.
Saw me catch a ball that was directly over my head and asked me to come out and play football. So That's how the football career got started.
McFadden excelled on the gridiron at Lake City High School. In fact, his standout play would lead to a JUCO scholarship at a military school in Georgia.
I'm definitely in a whole different place, a whole different world, a whole different environment. And that was really difficult for me because that whole freshman year of there being at military school, I went from being best male athlete in my high school to sitting the bench the whole entire year. I played one play. At the end of that year, most people went home for the summer. I didn't go home. We didn't go home just because I kind of felt a little embarrassed because I didn't play any my freshman year.
Determined, McFadden put in the work in the offseason, and it paid off in a big way.
So I went from sitting the bench my freshman year and not playing at all to the MVP of my team my sophomore year. So I had some offers to Cincinnati, Wyoming. I had an offer even to Florida State.
But while visiting back home, his high school coach would offer some advice.
I told him I didn't know I was going yet. He's like, I want you to check out Liberty. I had no idea what Liberty was, who Liberty was, where Liberty was at.
McFadden ultimately chose the Flames. Just as his move to JUCO had been a difficult one, transitioning to life at a small Bible college took some getting used to.
At JUCO, you go from drill sergeants and people and coaches that just curse you out every single day till you come into a Liberty environment where they're telling you they love you every single day. And I'm like, hold on, all this love thing is a little too much.
An electric kick returner, McFadden ran his way into the record books for Liberty football. He'd also put his speed to good use as a sprinter on the track team. And it would be as a member of that squad where his faith would come to the forefront.
But I think they really just changed the culture of, who I was just coming to the track team. I just think they had a different kind of culture. Bible studies, the groups and stuff that they had people. They wanted to get closer to God. They wanted to learn more about God.
And that foundation, along with the support of his coaches, provided the encouragement McFadden needed. During a difficult time for his family back in South Carolina, McFadden was planning to quit school and go home to help. But an assistant coach stepped in.
She just pulled me to the side and she didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't feel sorry for me in that moment because I was thinking about quitting. She's like, what are you gonna do when you go back home? Don't you think the best thing for you to do is finish school? That's the best thing you can do for your mom.
Tough love that left a lasting impression.
I think her telling me that, I could tell that was no games in that. I could tell that she wanted the best for me, and it really gave me an opportunity to really sit down and think about the decision I was gonna make.
After graduating from Liberty, McFadden would end up working in the counseling field. But all that would change with one phone call.
Got a call from Coach Toes me like, I got a job opening. I'm gonna put it in the paper in a couple of days, but if you want it, it's yours now. I'm like, wow. I'm like, of course I want it.
Core tight, up tall, chest up.
And not long into his coaching career, God revealed to him his purpose as a coach.
When your kids come in here, their professors will change, their friends will change, their roommates may change. You'll be, as their coach, the most consistent thing in their lives for 4 years before they enter into the real world. What are you gonna put into them? That really changed the way I thought, changed the way I coached.
Encourage them as we practice today.
This new approach would be a blessing to former all-conference sprinter Abby Flower.
Before school, me and my friends, we would always go to Coach Pete's office. After school, if we didn't have a class or study hall, Coach Pete's office. So he was always there for us outside of the track.
Never more so than in the aftermath of a personal tragedy during Flower's junior season.
That experience just transformed her life and my life.
He just walked me through it, and there were days we'd go to the track and just walk in circles. And it was just stuff like that that really just showed me he cares more about me than just an athlete.
Let's go, Bryce. Let's go, Reed. Here we go.
More than just an athlete, God has guided Coach Pete McFadden from that 2-bedroom shack in rural South Carolina into a leadership role in the lives of many.
There you go, guys. Good job today. Give yourselves a hand.
It's a calling he doesn't take lightly.
We got better.
If they have not grown to the place they've got their degree, they're gonna go out and be successful in their career. They're gonna make a difference in their community. They're gonna be good parents one day. If we have not instilled that in them, it doesn't matter what we do on the track, because that's what's gonna last them a lifetime.
Good job. Here we go. Let's go, ladies. Here we go.
Coming up, we show you the best way to stay up to date with Liberty Athletics. All you need is a mobile device. Don't go anywhere. Flame Central coming right back.
At Liberty University, we don't just believe everyone should have access to higher education, we make it happen. That's why we are offering our Middle America Scholarship to help families like yours by providing over $20,000 over the course of 4 years. Money should not hold you back from the life-changing experience at Liberty University. Find out if you qualify for the Middle America Scholarship today.
In 1776, one of the most important documents in our nation's history was penned by one of Virginia's most famous residents. Throughout the next 200 years, the importance of Central Virginia was deeply woven into the tapestry of our nation's history. Liberty University is blessed to be built upon these same historic grounds, furthering the Christian tradition of our founding fathers and training young men and women of character and of calling. At Liberty, you're welcomed into a community rich with history, and we invite you to explore our campus in Central Virginia to discover more than just the surface level. Building upon the tapestry of history, we strive for greatness, humble to be at the heart of where the country began.
First responders, you proudly serve. You are faithful to the call to serve your community, the call to protect, the call to save lives. Just as you honor God through your calling, at Liberty University, we're called to honor you by saving you money so you can earn a degree that prepares you today for whatever calls tomorrow.
A bachelor's degree is more than a diploma. It's about standing on your own 2 feet so you can give back in a way no one else can. At Liberty University, we believe in giving back. So when you study online, you won't pay for books. And when you're out fighting for others, we have your back. By discounting your tuition and holding rates steady for over 6 years. Over 100 undergraduate degrees, 1 U, infinite possibilities.
Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Flame Central. Matt, we all know Liberty athletes are getting ready for this fall, but Liberty fans need to do so as well.
Yeah, and you can do it by downloading the Flames app. Get it on your phone, news, schedules, tickets. It has all the info you need if you're a Flames fan. And hey, while you're on the interwebs, how about you go to libertyflamecentral.com and check out all of our past stories.
Yeah, and join in on our podcast as well. It is absolutely fantastic. He's Matt. I'm Rhett. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here next week.